Well,
Incredible.
and then just yesterday, we have a clip from Ontario Premier Doug Ford saying that, speaking of his campaign manager, Corey Teneke, that if he was managing Poilievre's campaign, then maybe the polls would be a little bit different. So I know I'm skipping ahead a little bit in the stream, but I think it's a good time to play this clip.
Corey was running that campaign. I don't think Mr. Poilievre would be in the position he's in right now, but it's still a lot of time left. We still have debates. At the end of the day, the people will decide which way they want this country to move forward. But sometimes the truth hurts. Corey was
Yeah. So basically, be more liberal is the advice of Doug Ford.
That's exactly what he's saying, whereas us, diehard conservatives are thinking to ourselves, "No, thanks." Like, absolutely not. But I can't imagine how federal conservative candidates right now are feeling towards Doug Ford. He is actively throwing grenades into the federal conservatives campaign, and nothing could be less helpful than Doug Ford with a bunch of microphones saying things that are pissing everybody off, who are working their fingers to the bone to pull it across the finish line for conservatives. And it's not in the campaign management, Doug. Okay. Pierre Poilievre is up against an absolute machine. So we had if Pierre Poilievre was running against Justin Trudeau, it would be an absolute non-issue. Mark Carney, so the Liberals created an election cycle that is so short. They are hoping that Mark Carney is going to sail through in his honeymoon period before the
Mm.
country of Canada can figure out how awful he is. But for Doug Ford's camp and for Doug Ford himself to be denigrating the conservative campaign, it is unforgivable. And don't tell me that conservatives won't forget this because or won't remember this later because they will. I believe that there's going to be a reckoning as it pertains to Doug Ford's actions in this moment because Doug Ford could just be quiet. I mean, he could just be quiet. He could just let the campaign happen. Let conservatives tell the Conservative Party what they want to hear out of them, and Doug Ford could go away. But no, he's injecting himself in ways that are just insane. And I do think that it tracks back to Buttongate too. Like this is all part of the same plan. So yeah, we'll see.
Well, I think it was 2 weeks ago, Doug Ford was it CHTV, or anyway, he was on, a less mainstream news outlet, let's say, and, he's like, "Oh, I'm not going to wade into federal politics," and they're like, "Why not? Why not?" They kept pushing back on him just enough to, get him kind of, you could see that his blood was boiling a little bit. But yeah, at that point, he's like, "I'm not wading into federal politics," and then here he is yesterday wading into federal politics. It's just textbook Ford, right? He says one thing and then 2 weeks later does
D-
another. That's been
Does
his legacy.
I don't know how you guys tolerate him out there in
Oh,
Ontario. Like,
I
I'm not
don't.
sure if well, no, if this was, if Saskatchewan would not tolerate a man like this. I mean, we would just not. The end. Um, but
Yeah.
it really does call into question what relationships Doug Ford and Doug Ford's camp have with the federal Liberals. Obviously,
Mhm.
he's posted selfies with Chrystia Freeland. He's doing the heavy lifting for the federal Liberals. And if you were being loyal to your party, Doug, you would not say any of the things that you've been saying. So, I mean, it just goes to show Canadians that he is not loyal to the Conservatives. He should not be able
No.
to call himself a conservative from this point forward.
More progressive than conservative by every stretch of the means.
Want to stay on top of the latest current events but don't trust the mainstream media to help you do that? Then check out our daily live stream coverage of the latest news and totally unscripted at rebelnews.com/roundup.